If you're looking to invest in safe, high-yield mortgages, then you might want to consider looking into Atrium Mortgage Investment Corporation. I'm here today to speak with CEO Rob Goodall and Chairman of the Board Mark Silver about Atrium's quality portfolio. Well, welcome to Canadian Business Spotlight, gentlemen. So let's talk first about the business itself. And Rob, I'll start with you. What exactly does Atrium invest in?
We are a mortgage lender that fills the lending gap caused by the limited number of financial institutions in Canada. It's a very different environment from what it was in the late 1980s when there were more than 20 major trust companies and more than 50 foreign banks. Those institutions don't exist any longer. Most of the trust companies were purchased by the major Schedule A banks, and as a result there's a huge area for non-bank lenders like Atrium to play in.
What is Atrium's portfolio strategy?
The strategy is basically about diversification, both geographically, where we operate in the most economically buoyant provinces, Ontario, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC, and we also diversify by real estate sector. So we lend against commercial real estate, we lend against residential real estate, and we lend against multi-residential real estate. Quite a broad spectrum of real estate sectors.
How important are client relationships?
Client relationships are really important to us, just as they are for a bank. It's better to know your customers very well and deal with fewer clients than deal with clients you don't know. So about 60 to 70% of our portfolio are repeat borrowers, people we know well, people we trust, and people we want to continue to do business with. So it's very important.
Well, speaking of relationships, I know the two of you have known each other for quite some time. Mark, tell us, how did you meet in the first place?
About 12 years ago, I think it was, through a mutual friend who had borrowed from Rob in the past, and I believe knew you for at least a decade before we met. We were on a trip down to Dallas to look at a piece of real estate. We didn't end up doing that deal, but I got to know Rob that day pretty well and asked if he'd include me in his next offering, and he did. A few months later, I started to invest. And Rob was good enough to make me a director about a decade ago. And now I'm the chairman of the board. So
it is a very strong relationship then.
I think so.
So as an investor yourself, Mark, how do shareholders benefit by investing in Atrium?
The same way I have over the last 12 years, through the yield that Atrium's able to generate through their mortgage portfolio. Over that period of time, I think we've generated between 7.5% and 10% returns annually. And those are issued today monthly. They used to be quarterly. And it's a very steady return.
Well, and that's very important, especially given all the turbulence that we've seen over the last couple of years. How are you able to manage risk in a volatile market?
Well, we try to underwrite very conservatively. On average, we're only lending at about 64% of the value of the particular piece of real estate. So the average borrower has 36% equity into the real estate we're lending on. So that's the first thing. Second of all, we try to do as high a percentage of first mortgages as we can, and about 91% of our portfolio are in first mortgages. And lastly, it offers you a 7.5% to 8.5% dividend return. It's very predictable, very sustainable. So anyone interested in a high dividend yield without risk or with minimal risk, we're a very attractive stock for. Atrium is the safe way to participate in today's real estate market.
Sounds like some solid returns there. Gentlemen, thank you both for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thanks.
For more information about Atrium Mortgage Investment Corporation, go to cabusinesstv.com/Atrium.